If you're moving to Denver from out of state and trying to figure out how to buy a home here without flying back and forth and without making a really expensive mistake, this is exactly how my clients do it. Because buying remotely in Denver is actually very normal now. But it only works if the process is set up the right way from the very beginning. The biggest shift in 2026 is that the market is calmer than it was just a few years ago. There's more inventory, homes are sitting a little bit longer, and buyers have more negotiating power. But at the same time, costs have gone up. Your taxes, your insurance, your HOAs. So what that means for you is you don't need to rush blindly, but you also can't afford to be slow when the right home shows up. Because the good homes, the ones that are priced correctly, and those that show well, those are still moving quickly. So the way we structure this is more preparation up front and faster decisions when it matters. The first step, and honestly the most important one, is getting pre-approved with the right lender. And I want to be really clear here, there's a big difference between being pre-qualified and actually being pre-approved. A pre-qualification is basically you telling a lender your numbers and them saying, yeah, that sounds about right. A real pre-approval means that they've looked at your income, your assets, your debt, and they're underwriting you. And when you're buying from out of state, that matters a lot because you don't have the luxury of finding a house and then figuring out later that your financing doesn't work. And in Colorado specifically, lenders are underwriting against higher property taxes, higher insurance costs, and in many cases, HOA dues or metro district fees. And if those numbers aren't realistic, you're going to think you can afford something and then find out later that your monthly payment does not actually work out. And that's a really bad place to be when you're already under contract. Once that's in place, we don't start with houses. We start with neighborhoods. And this is where I see the biggest and most expensive mistakes happen. Buyers fall in love with a home online before they understand the area. And when you're out of state, it's really easy to do that because everything looks good in photos. So instead, we narrow this down first, usually to 2 or 4 areas based on your budget, your commute, your lifestyle. And then we walk through real things like how often you'll be driving, where your work is, what your work schedule looks like, whether you care more about space or walkability, how close you want to be to the airport or downtown or any of the other little neighborhood enclaves. Because Denver is not one market, it's a bunch of micro markets. And choosing the right one makes everything else easier. Now, if your schedule allows, the most effective way to do this is one focused trip. Usually 3 to 4 days, but this is not a casual trip. By the time you land, we already have a curated list of homes in your target neighborhoods, so you're not just seeing everything, you're seeing the right thing. And during that trip, we're not just touring homes, we're testing the areas, driving them at different times, walking around, getting a feel for what your daily life would actually look like there, because that trip is what gives you clarity. And once you have that, you can make decisions quickly, even after you leave. If you can't come out, that's completely fine. We do this virtually all the time. But the key is doing virtual tours the right way, because a quick video walkthrough is not enough. When I'm showing homes to out-of-state buyers, I'm not just pointing out finishes. I'm showing you how the home actually lives, what the street feels like, what the parking situation is, what's happening next door at your potential neighbor's house, how the layout flows in real time, where the light comes in, what the noise level is. And I'm also looking for things that might not show up on camera or in those perfect pictures. Things like signs of moisture, foundation movement, roof condition, older windows, anything that might impact you later, because that's my job, to be your filter, not just your camera. Once we find the right home, making an offer from out of state is actually very similar to buying a home if you were here locally. The difference is tightening the process so that you are protected and ready to move quickly. Colorado contracts already have inspection contingencies, financing contingencies, and appraisal protections built in, so you're not going in blind. You have structure right out of the gate, and in competitive situations, we're not just throwing more money at it. We're using strategy. That could be flexible closing dates, rent backs for the sellers, strong terms, things that make your offer stand out outside of just financing without taking on unnecessary risk. Then comes your inspections. And this is where a lot of buyers think, I need to be there. You don't if the right people are involved. We use detailed inspections, photo-heavy reports, and ideally video summaries, so you can see exactly what is going on. Plus, I will be there. And in Denver, there are specific things we always look at that you might not look at in your area. That's radon, sewer lines, the roof condition, because all of those things can be a big expense if they're missed. After the inspection, we'll meet up online or in person, go through everything line by line. And there we decide, do we move forward? Do we negotiate? Or do we just walk away and find something else? And that's up to you. You make that decision with real information, not guesswork. And then finally, we get to the fun part, closing. Colorado is actually very friendly to remote closings. So in many cases, you can actually sign everything without physically being here, either through digital signing or remote notarization. We can coordinate that early so there are no surprises and that your timeline lines up with your move. Now, the biggest mistakes I see from out-of-town buyers are pretty consistent. Trying to shop without real numbers, that's a no-no. Falling in love with a home before you actually understand the area. Underestimating the total cost of working with people who don't understand this market. There's a bunch. And none of those are complicated, but they can be expensive if you don't catch them early. So if you're moving to Denver and trying to figure out how to do this without feeling overwhelmed, the goal isn't to do more. It's to do the right things in the right order. Because when this process is structured correctly, buying from out of state is actually more efficient, not harder. If you're looking for more information on relocating here from Texas, California, anywhere else, I have pages on my website dedicated to both where you can download guides. I have the links below. If you're looking for more information on Denver real estate, please like, follow, and subscribe for more information. I post weekly.